Hey, yeah, so now we are in VR mode, and we just really wanted to show off our director mode app. That's a brand new app that we've added to Massive Loop in one of our latest builds. We think it's a really great tool set. It's actually how I'm recording this right now. You know, it really gives people the ability to be able to spawn cameras and be able to kind of switch through those cameras to have all kinds of different experiences. So this is my kind of main camera if I was just going to be talking on screen. And the way this works is if you have a second display, for your computer, you'll have a second computer monitor. This feed will be fed to that separate monitor. And if you're using something like OBS, you can then use that second display to have a live feed of what's happening on this camera to be able to use straight into your OBS software. So you can really have a pretty dynamic sense of what's happening and with all of these different cameras. So you can spawn several different cameras, and so I'll kind of show how each one of these work. Yes, so the way you would bring up another camera is you would just open up your menu here, you'd open up apps, and then go to director mode. And then you can be able to spawn several different cameras. So I'll spawn a couple just to make it really quick. But this, right here is my A cam. And you can have all of your settings that are here. So you can have your field of view be really wide. You can have it be really tight, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. And the way I have it currently is I have it set in follow player. And so as I'm walking around in the environment, this camera will actually track with me. So you can kind of see, like, as I'm moving around or even rotating, whatever, if you wanted to have that camera kind of be like your main camera, if you were doing, like something where you were walking and talking, or even if you were just interacting in the world and wanted to have several different kind of camera views, you could have it this way with just this one camera that's going to follow you. And again, you can set this to be as far or as wide as you really want it to be. So now I'm going to set this camera back to follow player, so it'll be back to my original settings that I had it set to. So you can kind of make adjustments as needed. So for me, I want to be able to have this be right in front of the camera, so the way I'm standing right now. So what I'm going to do is just go over here and go to the rotation, and then you can kind of take this to move it to exactly the place that you want to be. So now that camera is back in front of me, based on my player position. If you wanted to, you can add another camera from here, or this could be your main camera. So I'll go back to the other settings. So this pulls up all of the other cameras. So I'm going to spawn a second camera and a third camera and a fourth camera. So for that second camera, I'm going to set it to follow player, and I'm going to let it kind of be wherever it's going to be. And then I'm going to make it be the field of view be a little tighter. So I'll go live on it here, so that way you can see the display, and you can see it right here in your preview. And so I'm going to bring it just a little bit closer. So that camera is right there, and now this is a pretty tight camera that you can use to be able to have. So you can really switch between each of these. So if you're doing this as like a one-man band kind of thing, then you can switch through your different cameras this way by just clicking on your screen, and it'd be able to automatically go to the next camera, and then you can see this tighter camera. So then I'm going to go back to the other settings. I'm going to go to camera number 2 here, and I'm going to also do follow player there. And for that camera, I'm going to change the rotation just a little bit. Actually, for this one, I'm going to set the auto rotate feature. So what this does is this makes that camera just do a slow pan, just kind of around me, and will just orbit my character. So whatever it is that I'm trying to do, if I was doing like a live event and I wanted to have something that was just a little more dynamic, I can have this, and I can, adjust the speed if I want it to be faster, if I want it to be slower. You can change even the direction if you wanted it to go a different way. So the way we have this currently set up is we have a preview that is here on your monitor that you're able to see. And then as you switch through different cameras, you will press the go live button. So if I want to switch to that camera that's kind of slowly rotating, I can see what it sees here. This is the camera that is still on, that camera 1. And then if I press go live, then it will switch to this camera that's just slowly rotating. So that way, if you are doing a live event of some sort, you can kind of see what that camera sees before you automatically go live to it. So, that's in the TV world, that's how those systems are set up between, live events and that kind of thing. Cause you can kind of, know what you're going to be putting on screen before your audience actually sees it. So I'll go back to my tight cam here, and I'll press go live, and then it will bring this tighter camera. So if I wanted to talk through and do that, another piece that's kind of neat that is, kind of a specific situation, but if you were doing a live event and you had an external person, if you had two people in the room and you wanted to have somebody else switch it for you, you can actually have another person switch each one of these cameras from a keyboard. Or if you were in VR or desktop mode, you could also use a keyboard to be able to switch through each of these using the top keys on your keyboard. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 0. You can have each one of those be associated with a camera, and you can switch between each one of those cameras. So I have my other community manager, Mitch, that is in the room with me as well, and he's got the keyboard right beside him. So for each one of these cameras are all set up by numbers. So, with Mitch being here with me, he's able to go through each one of these cameras based on the number that's associated with it. So if you had your first camera was camera 0, you could press, your other person could press camera 0, and then that will go to that. Or if I wanted Mitch to press camera 2, then he could go to camera 2 and then be able to switch to that immediately. And then I can see that frame as it's going. And each one of these cameras also have, kind of a red recording light on it. So if you were to be in VR and you wanted to know, which camera may be live, you would be able to see automatically. Another thing that's kind of fun that we added is you can also press this show labels button. You can see the camera as it's panning around, and I know that this is camera 2. So you would be able to even make call outs if you needed to in one way or the other. So I'll go back to camera 0 one more time, and then I will spawn my last camera, which is going to be my camera 3. So I'm going to pull up my camera 3 settings, and I'm going to go to follow player. And again, this camera is over here in the same position that my camera 1 is, but I'm going to make just a couple of changes. So I'm going to have the distance be a little bit closer. And I'm going to have that kind of be, let me change that angle just a little bit. So I want to make that basically be like a really tight camera. So for camera 3 here, I have clicked the green background, which is going to give you an alpha for OBS. And my preview is showing kind of a skybox at the moment. But if you switch to it in your OBS or streaming software, it will have your alpha channel already set up. So all you'll need to do with that software is be able to make that specific angle to just make sure that you're telling your computer that this chroma key color is the color that you want alpha'd out, and then it works pretty seamlessly. So with our green screen camera set up, with our alpha channel, we've done a little bit of work in advance to be able to create this in OBS, but you can see me in the bottom corner as there's other angles and that kind of thing going on. So if we wanted to be able to have this view be the constant, then you could be walking around the world. Again, all of these cameras are set up to follow me. So if I was to walk around or be interacting with people, you'd be able to have these cameras continue to stay directly on you. And then one of the best parts I think about all of this is, so this was a little bit of work to get each one of these cameras in exactly the place that I wanted to be. But now that it's all set up, you can save this to a profile, so that way this comes up every single time that you come into a specific world. So this is at the world level, so this will not work in every single world. You will have to set this up, but if you do have a world that you like to frequent, if you do some sort of content, I'm gonna go back to my tight camera over here. So if you wanted to have this, as your main view. And let's say this was, a world that you created. This is our karaoke world that we've just introduced. If you did a lot of content here in one way or the other, whether it was like a show or a podcast, or if you were a dancer, or you like to sing, or whatever your skill set is, you could have this set up at the world level, and then you can save this. So I'm going to go back to my POV here, go back to those original settings. So I have, each one of these cameras, and then you can go to open profiles, and then you can press save as, and then name it as, whatever it is. So I'll just name this mic drop, which is the name of this world here that we're in. So I named this profile mic drop, and so you can just press save. Then I'm going to, on my POV, I can go back to the camera settings. I'll press the X, and this will basically delete all of those cameras, and then they will no longer, be in your view. And then if I'm, doing whatever, if I log out of Massive Loop and I come back on another day, you could just go to open profiles, and then you go to load, and then you can find mic drop, click on it, press load, and then all of my cameras are back once again. So I have my cameras that are, kind of floating around. I have my cameras I have my tight cam, so I can press camera 0, and then I can see where each one of those are set up. And if I had, a specific view that I wanted, you could just rotate and make sure that view is exactly the way that you wanted it before. And then, you have your person who's either with you that's able to switch through things, or again, you move to the cameras that you want, press go live, and then you can have those cameras, pretty dynamically as you're, doing different things. So for this, this has been a really cool kind of feature for us to be able to add, because on the social side of Massive Loop, we use this as a tool for us in the way that we film social content. We're always trying to think of better ways to be able to do different things and to have really dynamic video, because, filming in VR is a challenge sometimes for people, but we tried to make it as easy as we can. So people that do events, or you're a VTuber, or you just like to make social content, you can kind of do a lot of different things to be able to show off, your unique skill set or your personality or whatever group that you like to work with. So for us, this is something that's been really exciting to have on the platform. So, if you are a creator in some way or another, we'd really love to be able to see how you're able to use this in your toolkit, if you're making content in one way or the other. So, come check out Massive Loop. You can download Massive Loop at massiveloop.com and be able to, try this out for yourself. This is one of our premium tier options. So to be able to have this is a pretty neat feature, we think, because again, we use it all the time, even for us, in ads or social content or whatever it is that we're trying to, do for different occasions. So it's a, pretty dynamic way, and, it's something that we're really proud of, and we're always trying to make better. So come try it out for yourself, come make your own content, really push the system and show us in ways that you can use it. This camera here that's continuing to rotate is actually a feature that we totally added to Massive Loop based on feedback that we had from one of our users. We have, somebody who's really big on the, in the dance community, using full body tracking. And so for us, just talking with them and being able to, see what do you need on the platform to be able to make this, work for you. And so for somebody who's dancing, doing break dancing and all of the different skills that goes with that, to be able to have a camera that totally rotates and has motion for you, without having to, do anything yourself is pretty incredible. So we were able to add this as an additional feature. So as we have creators coming to the platform, let us know how you're using it. What can you use? How can we make this better? And that goes, for the whole platform. If we're not listening to the community in one way or the other to try to make great quality of life improvements, then, we always kind of say, like, who are we building this for? So we really want the community to, give us this good feedback to know how we can, make things better. So yeah, so that's kind of it for Director Mode today. Again, this is, one of our brand new apps in Massive Loop. So we just kind of wanted to go through some of the, major features that are part of that app to be able to show you how you can use it. Try it out for yourself. We'd love to be able to see what kind of content you can create with it. And that really inspires us, even on the social side, to see, how people are creating content, and being able to use these tools. So we hope it's a really great resource for you. So